What's going on, guys? It has been a very long time since I have done anything car related, video related even. The last video was about 4 months ago. I think it was like November 1st. But basically every single day since then, we have been working on the house, trying to get the house done. When we bought the place, we knew it was going to be a ton of work, but we also have never really done this stuff before. So I guess we didn't really know how much work it was truly going to be. So I wouldn't say it's like much worse than we thought, but just the like work in general is probably more than we thought. But no big surprises really. Maybe a few things here or there, but nothing crazy. Once you get into it, everything's like that. Cars, houses, I guess. So yeah, this is basically going to be just a little update video. Nothing too crazy. Show some of the progress because we have done a ton of work changing things, making things just a lot better in the house and kind of making things the way that we want to. But yeah, it was rough to begin with. So if you guys didn't watch that video, that was like 4 months ago we bought this place, and it's like 1.5 acres. It's out in the middle of nowhere. We only have like that one neighbor and they're cool. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out to see basically what it looked like before, check that video out, and I'll also put some clips in here kind of while we're doing a little walkthrough. But that's what I want to do now, is just do a walkthrough, kind of show what's been happening. We'll go inside and we'll see what's going on. First thing, basically, we moved the back door, which makes more sense once we get inside, but we still have to close this in and finish this stuff. But I'm waiting till it gets warmer out and then we'll start doing the exterior stuff, depending. I think the last video, all we saw was like the house as a house. So yeah, we completely gutted this place, like right down to the studs, obviously. So there's no insulation in this house. The wiring was redone. Like, it wasn't knob and tube, it wasn't super old stuff, but we redid the entire electrical system in the whole house. We upgraded to 200 amp. They had to run the new wire all the way from the pole to the house. They had to put a new stack like on the outside of the house to get it up higher because that's the code now. So I was not gonna tackle this by myself. So basically the electrical was all hired out and the plumbing, but everything else we did ourselves, like all the framing and stuff. Like, it's not 100% perfect, but it passes, like everything's good. So I'm super happy with that. I've never done really anything like this. So just basically learning as I go, looking at YouTube videos, stuff like that. Getting into it, the kitchen and everything is as it was, except I moved that door over there because we wanted to put the fridge in basically that space where they had it here before, and just kind of broke the room up, made the room feel really small, and I don't really like the fridge out in the middle of nowhere. So we moved that over, so now we'll have that and like a little pantry over there, and then all of our cabinets and stuff, which will be coming after drywall. Then going into the bathroom here, we redid all the plumbing in the house, like I said, so everything is good. We switched everything around. I think before, when you'd walk in, there was a vanity over here, and then the tub was here. Wait, how was that? I think the toilet was there, the vanity was there, and the tub was here. Yeah, and then there was like a big giant closet here. So we switched it all around. This is basically gonna be where the hot water tank goes now. It was over in this room, but the washer and dryer is going over there. So hot water tank's gonna go here with like a big, kind of like a built-in thing, whatever. And then obviously the tub, shower thing. The vanity is gonna be there, and then there's enough room for the door to open, and toilet is over there. So kind of opens this room up a little bit more, but I don't know, it was more aesthetically pleasing to just walk in and just see the tub, and it'll eventually be like a tiled shower, and it should look pretty good. So once we completely gutted this place, the way they build these old houses is with like this tongue and groove, like shiplap stuff all over the ceilings. And obviously we had to get that stuff down to do electrical and, you know, other parts, insulation and stuff. When we did that, we realized that basically how they build these houses is just one big room, and then they put all the interior walls underneath that shiplap stuff. So I had to basically rebuild all these walls. I could have probably just like shimmed them because they were no longer touching anything. So like they're technically not load bearing. But yeah, I had to rebuild all those. So now everything's super solid. And then we sistered some joists in here because this whole house is pretty old. So these were 2x6s. So we sistered in 2x8s and then redid the blocking and all that. This side of the house really was not that bad. Basically, you know, just standard stuff. But coming over to this side of the house, this is definitely like the biggest changes that we made. You can kind of see we did a lot of stuff in here. You can see all the new wood. So yeah, we had to sister all these joists too, and we doubled them up. So double 2x8s to original 2x6s. And yeah, this ceiling was sagging over like 2 inches in the center. It still is sagging a little bit, but like I said, it's a 115-year-old house. It was built in 1910. So you're never really gonna, I did a lot of research on how to do things, and a lot of people were saying like, you'll never get it perfect, like just stop trying unless you completely tear everything out and restart. And it's like, I didn't really feel like doing that. So it's about ½ inch, 5/8 of an inch up there sagging still. So it's not a huge deal. But the main thing was just to reinforce it because it felt like a trampoline when you were up there. It was honestly pretty bad. So now that's all taken care of, and it's pretty good. So you can see over here, there was a door here, which was, I'm assuming, one of the original doors on this side of the house, because that side of the house was an addition like years later, like decades later. So yeah, I just framed it in, closed it up, and this is going to be basically like our entertainment system. We're gonna have TV on the wall up there, and then want to do like a fireplace, like built-in thing. But for now, it's just gonna be like a regular whatever thing for like consoles and stuff, and then a TV up there. This side of the room is, I would say, completely different. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. You can just see by like the flooring here, this is where the stairs used to come out to, and we had to move them ahead this way because they had a really strange situation where there was just like some plywood up top that you would remove, and then you could get like furniture and stuff upstairs, and you would basically hit your head on it just walking up. This way I was able to move the stairs back that way, so we got them further away and you're further away from the ceiling, and then I was able to add this whole entire ceiling joist in, which they didn't really have before because it only came to here and then it ended. So now I brought it all the way to the end, so that's shorter now, that distance, and then this one's longer over here because we lost the steps over there, had to add them over here. So I also had to actually cut the floor and extend the stairs this way. Obviously we rebuilt the stairs completely wider and just way more sturdy than they were before. And as you can see too, on the ground here, this line was a little wall and kind of like a closet thing. Basically from this point, I think this is about like 5 feet, and then 6 feet that way was all closed in, and then kind of like a useless little closet type thing. What we're gonna do now is put like a bar area in right here. And then also there was a window there. We had to get rid of the window because the stairs then overlap the window, which is no big deal because this area here is eventually going to be a patio door, but just not right now. So I did the framework ahead of time, but we'll basically insulate it all, drywall it. And then once everything is done and we can live in the house and stuff, that's kind of not as important as just living in the house. So we're gonna get everything finished. And then once it's time, I can basically just, jam a router in here and go all the way up and around, and then we'll have the opening, and then we can just cut it from the inside to the outside, and we'll just push that right out. So it's all supported with a double header and like king and jack stud on the side. So everything there is pretty good. But yeah, this room was definitely a lot of work, probably the most work, and I guess upstairs. But it's pretty much done now, other than the floor. So the floor was sagging quite a bit, just like upstairs, probably about like 2 inches or so. And actually more than 2 inches, because we did put a beam right dead in the center, and there's a few pedestals, whatever down there, a few pads it's sitting on. So it's solid now, but my fear is that it's so bowed that if we keep jacking it, we've done it little by little and got it up, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch, but I don't want to go too far and kind of like change the structure of the house and start breaking things. So I am going to fix this, but it's going to be later, and it's probably not going to be like the right way to do it, but I plan on leveling it with like wood. So I'm going to basically just build a false floor on top of this floor, so it'll come perfectly level from the kitchen, and then we'll lose a little bit maybe around the sides of like headroom, but the kitchen is way higher, so it's kind of what you have to do. But yeah, overall, this area, I'm really happy with how it looks now. This is like wide open, when before there was an actual door frame around here. So you go through the door frame and then up the stairs, and then there was a wall that came out. So now all of that is completely gone. So now we got this big pillar in the middle that's supporting everything, which is way more than what was going on before. There was only a few 2x4s holding like the ceiling joists, which is actually kind of sketchy, and definitely is not original. There used to be a wall in here, which we found out once we tore the ceiling down. Sistering these joists in definitely made a big difference, made it way better than it was. And then also that. So that's pretty much it for down here. We'll go up the stairs, take a look up there, and there's a lot of work done up there as well. Also, side note, all of these floors are like 3 inches thick. Down there is even thicker because there's hardwood, and then these 2 layers of like old hard solid wood, and then obviously up here we have the subfloor on top of it. And you can see it's not perfect, especially on here. You can see it's not perfectly level, but overall, the house being like 115 years old, I'm not really too upset by it. I'm pretty happy with how it came out because it was terrible before. I said we did most work downstairs, but I don't know, we did a lot of work up here too. When you used to come up the stairs, there was a weird kind of like in this sloped ceiling area, a closet with no doors or anything. But we basically got rid of that because now the stairs, they used to end like halfway into the window, but now they're over here. So it just kind of opens the space up, gives more room for walking and just carrying, you know, furniture, I guess, like when you're moving stuff. And then another huge change that we did was rebuilt this whole bedroom wall. Was pretty rickety. There was an old chimney, as you can see up there. That was already like patched and filled in, but the chimney was actually still there and came down in the wall. So we had to remove all that, which was a lot of weight and a lot of stress off of like this whole upper level. So that's definitely helping out like with the structural integrity. But yeah, this door was actually over here before. So we just moved it over here, honestly, just to kind of change things up a little bit because might as well while we're here. And yeah, none of these rooms up here, there's only 2 bedrooms, but neither of the rooms had closets in them. So we had to build a couple of closets, which took a little bit of figuring out because I don't really know what I'm doing when it comes to this stuff. So overall, super happy with this. And then also we pushed this wall, actually made the room a bit smaller. We pushed the wall back about a foot, a little bit over a foot. And that was to also help us out over here. So this wasn't super narrow like it was. Like I said, it was pretty much to there, the opening that we filled in. So it would have been super narrow of a walkway with that wall out here. So we moved that wall way back. Obviously, then I had to rebuild all of this upper structure just to like basically create like a hallway through here. It took a lot of figuring out. Obviously, I had to build this little wall thing and just trying to figure out like where you can put drywall or like where you have to put drywall. So you have to make, you know, a structure on this side, structure on this side, and then enough room here. So when you put your door frame in, the trim doesn't get cut. It's a lot. Like it doesn't seem, well, maybe it does. It doesn't seem like we did like a ton of work because most of this stuff was already here. We just basically had to redo it. But there's a lot that goes into this stuff, which you don't really realize. I didn't realize anyways when we first took this on. This is the master bedroom now. It's about like 20 feet long. It's the whole one side of the house upstairs. So one of the main things that I did here too is I rebuilt this wall because that, which you can see that old looking wall, that's actually the original exterior wall of the 1910 portion of the house. And being that it's 115 years old, it's super out of plumb or level, whatever you want to say. So it was just easier to build a wall inside of the wall because you can see here, there's like 2 inches and then it's basically touching up here. So now that will be obviously drywalled and finished, and that will look like pretty good because it's level. Everything's perfect. Everything I built is level, so it should be really, really good. And yeah, like I mentioned in the other room, there was no closets up here. So we went back and forth. We kind of thought we were going to put the closet on that side and just kind of like square off a corner of the room as the closet. But I didn't really like that because then you'd be kind of walking through. You're already walking through like a dingy, I don't know, like a smaller hallway. And then you would open the door and basically continue to walk past the wall. So I thought of this idea, which was to add it to the end, to add one on each side of the end of the room. And I think it worked out pretty well. We're still going to get like a ton of natural light because I kept it far enough away from the window that it's not really impeding. Obviously, there's no drywall up, so the light's going right through, so it seems fine now. But I think it's going to be like pretty okay. It's nothing crazy. They're just like 4x5, whatever. But way more storage than we had in the old house, and obviously way more storage than we had here originally because there was no closets other than the one we took out downstairs in the living room and the one we took out right there basically in like the hallway area, which we weren't going to use for our clothes and stuff like that. You want them in your bedroom, right? So, and then the final thing that I did in this room, I don't know if you can see up here, 2x4s for the ceiling were down here. So I raised this whole ceiling by about 4 inches. And then obviously now we have pot lights going throughout. And then these openings, there's one in the other room as well, as for our ceiling cassette for the heat pump. We're trying to keep this as cheap as possible while still doing it like relatively like decently. So we're going with like the Mr. Cool DIY setup for the heat pump thing. And that's what all of these lines are. We had to run through the wall, down the wall, and then outside. And we're going to pour like a cement pad with the unit. But it's super cool because they come fully charged. And if you follow the instructions and you just hook them up, you don't need like an HVAC guy to come and do everything. So we ran our own wires for the communication and for the drains and for all the like AC, I guess the Freon, kind of like a car, all that stuff. Yeah, overall, like it's not 100% perfect, but it's going to be like 100% better than what it was. And I'm super, I'm pretty proud of the work that we did in here because it was a lot of work and definitely out of the realm of what I'm used to. So now where we are at, everything, all the framing is done, all the plumbing is done, all the electrical is done, as far as like roughing. Once the drywall and stuff's done, they'll come back, put all the plugs, put all the pot lights. So that's basically where we're at now. Everything is done. Now it should be like we're actually making some serious progress, because tomorrow on Monday, the installation guys are coming. So they're going to spray this whole house. I know that is kind of like a controversial thing, especially with older houses. A lot of people don't like the spray foam, but because it's only 2x4 construction, we don't have a ton of room for like the pink bat. So you can only get an R12, which is pretty terrible. And it gets super windy out here. So like very cold in the winter. With the spray and foam, we can get about an R24 to R26 in the walls in the 2x4s. That's what they say with the closed cell spray foam. So I just think overall, it's the better way to go. It's more economical because it's gonna keep everything in and everything out. And also there's no gas out here. There is like city water, which is cool. There's no sewer. We have a septic tank, which is brand new, which is really cool. But yeah, there's no gas. So everything is going to be run off electricity, which is extremely expensive. So we want the heat pumps and stuff to work efficiently. So the best way I think to do it would be to do this in spray foam. So that's what we're gonna do, is completely like seal up the whole house and do it that way. And then hopefully right after that, the drywall guys are gonna come in here. You can see they've already done a bunch of blocking. Like in the corners they came in, they put all this blocking in because they need the drywall to sit on this and sit on this. So they had to add some blocking to be able to do that. So we've already come and done that. So now the next step is, after the installation, drywall guys are gonna come hang the drywall, and then they're going to do the mudding as well. And it should take a week and a half, 2 weeks to get it completely done. And then this place will actually look like a house, even though like there's still so much more work to do, but it'll be like really, really close then. And it's pretty much just kitchen cabinets, finish the bathroom, like do the tile around the shower, tile the floor, and then put all our floors in, paint the walls. Pretty much like a done house. I know it's gonna be more than that, but it's really exciting stuff. And I was gonna attempt to do the drywall because I don't really care if it's perfect because it's such an old house, right? But the amount of time that it would take us to figure everything out, and just, it would probably end up being a mess and like months on end of us doing it. And we're just pretty excited. We just want to live here. So I got a pretty good price for doing all that stuff. We're just gonna go that way, let the pros handle it. They know what they're doing, and it should be good. So I'm pretty excited. Hopefully within the next month or two, I would say we're gonna be finished like 90%, possibly even living here, which is super sick. Because my main thing, obviously, like I want a decent house to live in, but my main thing is, once this house is done, then I can start on the garage, which I just can't see it from here. It's right over there, just waiting for me. So once everything's good here, and if I have money left over, then I plan to just go right to that. We'll do a lot more video, like filming and stuff like that, because that's actually cool to me and very interesting. This stuff is like, I just want to get it done, get living in this house, and then do stuff that I like actually want to do. That's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully just a quick little update video, let you guys know how we're doing, what's going on. I appreciate everybody reaching out, you know, making sure I'm good. I am good, but it's just, this stuff takes so much time. There's not a chance to, well, for me, there's no chance that I was gonna take longer to just like set up a tripod, do this. It just didn't make sense for me to do all this work and then edit every night, because that is like so much work. I just really want to get like the house done, just like full steam ahead, get everything done. So I didn't really have the ambition to also then film and edit and do all that stuff. So hopefully you guys forgive me. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Hopefully if everything goes as planned, I'll see you in like a month or two, and then we can get to Big Bertha out there. All right, guys. Appreciate you watching. Well, I'll see you in the next one.